First speaking is going to be our Ameren Senior Director of Division of Operations, the North, Craig, C-R-A-I-G, Gilson, G-I-L-S-O-N.
Good afternoon. As of 12 o'clock today, we are below 1,000 customers without electric service. We have restored over 53,000 customers restored their power. We would ask our customers that if you do not have power as of 2 o'clock today, please call back into our call center, 800-755-5000. Again, if you do not have power as of 2 o'clock today, please call back into 800-755-5000. Make sure we have you on our list for restoration. I do want to thank the mayor, the city, and all the county agencies for all their efforts. They've been great help in allowing us to get the restoration done in such a timely manner. I know there are customers that do have weatherhead issues. We are going to work people around the clock and through the weekend, so if you get your weatherhead repaired and you need reconnected, please call the 800-755-5000 and we'll have somebody come out there throughout the weekend. So again, we do want to thank our customers for their patience through the storm restoration effort.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here again today. I want to update you. When we first started, we said our #1 priority was to get emergency access to 100% of our residents. And I'm happy to say that in the core part of the city, meaning from Harrison to Locust, River to 36th Street, there are only 3 blocks that do not have at least one lane open available to them. We hope to have those 3 lanes or 3 blocks by 6 o'clock today, and those are because of power issues. And there may be some outlining subdivisions or neighborhoods that still are inaccessible that we will get to them after we get these addressed. Want to go now and talk about the rollaway containers. First, the rollaway site at Hy-Vee is no longer operational. The rollaway sites will be operational until 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's Friday. I want to encourage residents not to throw away any large items. It's causing quite a problem at the rollaway sites. Area and Allied are emptying the containers once a day, but quite frankly, they're not keeping up with demand because of large items being dumped in those sites. If you can, just make it perishable items, your food in your refrigerator or in your freezer. I know people have garbage that didn't get picked up this week, but if it can wait till next week, it would be a great help for the city of Quincy. So again, those sites will be suspended and removed on Friday at 3 o'clock. We will then, on Monday, have a site at Central Services with 1 rollaway container that will be in operation from 7 to 5. Afterwards, there will be no rollaway service offered to citizens of Quincy. I also want to remind people to look at the sites that the City of Quincy is offering. We have the Quincy Park District site. We have the QU ball field. We have the Quincy Mall parking lot, and we have John Wood. Those are the only City of Quincy sites that you can use. If you see any other rollaway dumpster in the City of Quincy, it's private. Do not use it. Somebody else is paying for it. So make sure you're only utilizing the sites that I mentioned beforehand. In the last press conference, we were asked about regular yard waste. Evans will resume regular yard waste collection on Monday. So if you have grass clippings, regular debris, they will pick it up, but it will only meet the specifications that they normally do, so it's not large debris. You can look on our city website for the exact specifications of what they'll pick up. The yard waste site that we mentioned yesterday and that we opened at Front and Cedar, that is open to the public, that will be suspended as of 5 o'clock tonight, and the members of the public are free to use the Evans recycling site thereafter that. And that's once again for City of Quincy residents. It's free. If you're a contractor or you're from out of town, you'll have to pay for that service. So once again, the Front and Cedar site will be suspended for the public after 5 o'clock today. Also, Quincy Transit Lines, there's been some confusion on operations. Quincy Transit Lines will not operate through Friday. Saturday and Sunday they will operate on holiday hours. That's our usual weekend routine right now due to the state of Illinois budget concerns. But then Monday through Friday service will resume on Monday, and that will be on snow emergency routes only. I want to once again thank really the entire city of Quincy for how they've handled themselves during this storm. I want to thank Ameren for sending in so many members of their crew, Adams Electric Co-op. I also want to say that the many municipalities and government agencies that are helping us out. To give you an idea of who we have helping us out right now, we not only are working side by side with Adams County and Quincy Park District, but we're working alongside crew members from Macomb, the state of Illinois, the Department of Corrections, and we've reached out to municipalities throughout the state of Illinois who will hopefully be coming in next week. So with that, I'll hand it over to John Simon.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I was asked a question yesterday about those individuals that are outside the city limits. What can they do with the debris? Again, I'll indicate, as I did yesterday, outside of the city limits, open burning is permitted, so they're able to get rid of that debris through open burning. If they choose not to use open burning, they can take it to the Evans recycling place. However, they'd be just like a contractor. They would have to pay to be able to dump there. So they can take it to the Evans site. It just they'd have to pay for it. Additionally, Quincy Police Department has suspended taking reports of vehicle damage. A limb comes down, causes damage to the vehicle due to the storm. A police report is not required. They need to contact their insurance company to make that claim. They're no longer taking those reports just because of the demand that it's put upon the department. Yesterday I talked about having individuals that needed help clearing their yards. Elderly, people with disabilities, people that are unable to get out and clear their own yards within the city and drag that to the curbside. The hotline to call for that is area code 217-214-7788. We have our volunteer staff is monitoring the lines. We saw yesterday there was a spike. Even during our news conference, people called right away. I would ask for the media's help in keeping that number out there. It seems to wane off after the news broadcast, so if we could keep that out there. But I also want to make another plea. I'm very used to Quincy and Adams County residents, neighbor helping neighbor. We've been through floods, we've been through windstorms before. We're starting a call for help. This weekend we'll be organizing a major volunteer effort to help clear those yards of the elderly and disabled, those people that can't get out and clean it. So if you have the ability to come out and help your neighbors, we want you to do that. It's the same hotline, 217-214-7788. Call that number and tell them what you're able to do. We'll have more information. We'll get your phone number, and then we'll communicate where we're going to meet on Saturday morning. We're going to do from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So if you're able to help, you have some friends, family members, want to get together and help your neighbors, that would be great. Here's the thing though, we want people to operate safely, so make sure that if you're coming out to work, everybody should be wearing, I know it's hot, but long pants, good sturdy jean. Everybody should have work gloves, some sort of a boot. We're not going to let anybody out there that's wearing flip-flops or sandals. Eyeglasses, and if operating a chainsaw, need to have ear protection. With that, if people are operating chainsaws, they would need to bring their own equipment, rakes, chainsaws. If you're operating a chainsaw, we strongly encourage you to wear chainsaw chaps just from a safety perspective. So think about the tools that you need to bring if you're going to help us, but we would really appreciate that. And again, I would ask the media to help keep that number out for the public. At this point in time, that's all I have, but I would take any questions if there are.
Going back to, we had a little bit of storm damage before this happened from the flooding. Columbus Road is an example. That was completely washed out. For people that are in those areas that were already damaged, what is going to happen with that? Is that been kind of put on the side for now, or are they continuing to look into those areas?
Well, in this case, fortunately, the damage that was occurred, specifically, I'm speaking of the road damage, it falls to a different jurisdiction. The road district and the county, they're still looking at how they can get those roads repaired, opened, and move forward. It's just added to the list, basically, but there's movement on all of those projects.
For Mayor Moore, I was going to say that people have been asking, because they've been given options for yard waste, they've been given options for food, where to dispose that. For people that may have other debris, shingles, lawn furniture, stuff like that, is there an option for them to take that somewhere?
No, we'll have our regular citywide cleanup in September. But as far as that, if they want to remove sooner, they'd have to hire a private contractor to do that.
Okay. And over the weekend, again, if they still have yard debris over the weekend, what are the options after to?
Well, the yard debris, the yard collection site will remain open, so the Evans site will remain open. But they'll also do curbside pickup for any grass clippings or anything like that, regularly scheduled starting on Monday. I also want to state it was reported yesterday that the city would have a emergency city council meeting on Friday. That's not the case. We'll have a regular scheduled meeting on Monday. I again want to reiterate that we most likely will not get FEMA reimbursement. We most likely will not get anything from the state. This is going to be pretty much paid for by the city and our insurance companies. So I don't want to get anybody's hopes up that there's going to be some magic check from our federal government that makes everybody whole again. So this is going to be an expensive endeavor. We're going to talk about that on Monday night, how we can get more crews mobilized and how we can pay for that.
Mayor, with only 3 city blocks you say impassable right now, how's that compared to yesterday? I mean, how much are the numbers down?
It's down considerably. Yesterday, we had about anywhere between 50 to 30% impassable in the core area. So now to only have 3 blocks, I think that speaks a lot about just the number of crews that have come out and helped. Again, we wouldn't have been able to do so without the help of other agencies and contractors and citizens. So again, now if you're in the outlying subdivisions, maybe you have a small cul-de-sac, we might still need to get to you, but again, be patient. Again, we want to get our main arteries, our main core of our city completed for access.
As far as for details on street cleanup and taking away debris, I know a lot of city crews are doing this that they're not used to doing. Is there what's the process for that? Is the city being divided into quadrants similar to what Ameren has done? Is there any confusion with that?
We did snow routes, and we thought that was the easiest way to do it, so that way the major thoroughfares got covered soon or quickly. I should say after this, Monday our crews are going to have to get back to garbage and recycling, and there's going to be some crew members where you have to pull off. So it's going to be important on Monday night when we talk about really getting cleaned up that we're going to have to hire private contractors. We don't have the manpower to do this. We wouldn't if we had 40 workers that were just rotating around at our disposal. So this is a large task. We're a large city. We're going to need help, and so Monday night we're going to talk about a plan to pay for it and a plan to get private crews mobilized.
Any kind of a cost estimate at this point of a survey, or has information been coming back for?
No, we're starting to get some rough estimates, but nothing that we can say concrete right now. But we'll have something on Monday night.
A lot of people right now did suffer a lot of damage in their homes. Maybe some people living in inhabitable homes. They're probably wondering how long will help be there, whether that's shelter, whether that's food opportunities. John, do you know how long that will be available for people that several probably have inhabitable homes right now?
Right. So we're continuing to work with the Red Cross. The Red Cross shelter is still open at the Quincy Senior and Family Resource Center, 639 York. It's been open since Monday night. It will be open tonight. We will give the public plenty of notice before that closes down. We're still seeing the resident population. In the last night's population was in the 50s, so there's still need out there. That shelter will be there as long as there's need, if that's through the weekend and into next week. And then as we work with so many of the other partners, not just the Red Cross, but other community partner agencies, to find them either alternate housing or get those repaired. We have plans for all of that. Those are all in the works. Some of it just takes time. The bulk of it is really Ameren getting the power back on, and so we can deal with the case by case from there forward. The feeding will continue throughout the weekend. Obviously, as I said earlier, we'll have the volunteer effort out there, and so we'll need to make arrangements for those feeding operations. So it'll all still be hand in hand throughout the weekend, and we'll make sure that we give the public plenty of notice before that's closed. So what I'm saying is if we'll continue our noon news conferences, you will hear at a noon news conference that the next day would be the earliest it would close. So we're not going to put anybody out on the street.
I know, John, we had some rain early this morning. I know you mentioned yesterday you guys were concerned about a widow's maker. I mean, with a small percentage of severe weather on the way, I mean, is that still a concern today?
It certainly is. You know, my staff inside the emergency operations center, they're continuing to monitor that. We'll communicate that with the crews that are out on the street. Obviously, it makes it more dangerous for those cleanup crews, and so maybe the threshold's a little bit lower because we have, you know, more debris hanging. It makes it a more dangerous situation. So we know we have a job to do and get it cleaned up. But number one priority is to provide for the public and the responder safety. So we're monitoring it, we'll communicate that, and if we need to, we'll pull them in given the scenario.
Now, if crews come across anything you need, a type of debris, suspicious debris that you guys weren't expecting?
You know, anytime you deal with a disaster of natural proportions, while it's all similar debris, you never know exactly what you're going to find. Ameren, I'm very pleased with their response to it, but it seemed like every briefing they were coming in saying, as they were, you know, clearing lines, they were finding, you know, new debris, new poles snapped off, and while they were able to respond to that quickly and efficiently, there's always a surprise around a corner that maybe you weren't expecting with debris. So I think we're ahead of schedule for what some communities could expect. I can only attribute that to the cooperative effort amongst all of the response organizations, city, county, other municipalities throughout the county and throughout the state. It's been a cooperative effort, and that's what makes a successful outcome to a disaster.
Now, what's the main focus today in Quincy with restoring power?
I'm sorry?
What's the main focus in Quincy trying to restore the power?
I'll leave that to Ameren to...
Question?
The main focus in Quincy trying to restore the power.
We've still have over 1,300 personnel, you know, in the Quincy area. So we have the whole area blanketed. As of about 9:30 this morning, every order was assigned and crews were working on it. So we don't have one focus over the entire city to get everybody's power back on.
Are any of the work and repairs that you're doing now, pole replacements, any of that temporary that you're going to have to come back and address at some point?
In the Quincy area, it's not. You know, we've had enough personnel here that we can repair it right and not have to worry about coming back. We'll also have our field checkers going out throughout the area that was damaged, looking for, you know, broken insulators, broken hardware, things that might cause a problem later on, and we'll keep some crews here through the next couple days to make sure we get those repaired also.
I know there were people that contacted us and other media with some concerns about third-party construction. They said at a public housing authority at Indian Mounds, a third party had put in a transformer out there, and after the power came on, it immediately went out, and there was concerns that wouldn't come back on for a certain amount of time, probably a while. Anything about that as far as third-party construction and afterward?
We'll have people available throughout the weekend, you know, 24/7. If, you know, some third party gets something repaired, we'll have resources available to, you know, get it immediately.
Have there been a lot of calls that Ameren has taken, and if the case has been, it's been on the customer themselves that they have to repair it, whether it's an electrician? I mean, have a lot of those calls been coming in and you've had to tell them that it's actually on you to get that repaired?
There's been a few, I'm not saying a lot. I think a lot of people, we've tried through our press conferences and through the media to get that message out there that if you have you know, look at your weatherhead, if it's damaged, please get it repaired so we can come out and restore the power.
You guys have plans on repurposing the broken poles?
We do in some areas, but right now we're just, you know, putting pride to the landfill.
Yeah, and I know there was a little bit of concern because some of the poles aren't broken, but they are leaning heavily to, I mean, some of them look like they could literally fall over, but there is power in some of those areas. What's the process of that, and how dangerous, I mean, are those poles at this point?
We'll straighten the poles if they look dangerous, and if not immediately, you know, long term, we'll get back in there and straighten the poles out.
One thing I just wanted to make sure that we remind of is the parks are still closed, with the park district diverting their resources to assist the city. They haven't been making progress on restoring those. So as we start to get into the weekend and as residents look around and it's starting to get back and feel like life's back to normal, well, the parks, they're still closed. Stay out of them, and we'll get to that as quickly as possible.
And then those were the parks were dismantled. It seems like every one it's just completely dismantled. How do you even assess how much repair there's going to be, and where does the cost from that? How does the funding for that come in the future here?
Well, I had a conversation with Rome Ferrerick, the executive director of the Quincy Park District, this morning, and parks by their very nature are supposed to have trees in them, and so anytime you have a windstorm of this magnitude, whether it's straight line winds or a tornado, it's always devastating to parks just by that very nature. So they have some ability to do that. I know they're right now they're evaluating what their kind of first steps are as they look at diverting in the future away from debris removal, assisting the city, to getting their own parks back in operation. They're evaluating that. They'll have a game plan for how they do it. I can't speak to how they fund it, but with them being their own entity, but the park district will be responsible for that cleanup. Are there any other questions at all? Okay. We will have another news conference tomorrow at noon. Just so you know, we'll plan to continue those at least through the weekend and reevaluate and see where we're at. We will want to make sure that we have good and valid and timely information for the media and that we, and for the public. So we'll look to continue those through the weekend. All right. Thank you very much for all your help.